So hello guys, how are you? I believe that you have begun your week well. I've also begun my week well. Happy new month. We are in the month of December. We're in the last month. And I just want to, as I begin, to just wish you a happy new month. Okay. And my prayer for you is that you may finish strong. You may finish strong. You may finish well. Being the last lap, it's time to reset, time to, reflect and strategize for 2026. Now, my prayer for you is that you may finish strong. Okay. So today we are looking at one of the hottest topic. Yeah, one of the hottest topic. And today we are looking at some of the truths, that maybe some people have not shared with you about real estate. And today I'm exposing them. Yeah, today I'm exposing them. And I'll want you to, before I begin, to let me know where you are tuned in from, where you're watching me from. Okay, let me comment section. Where are you tuned in from? Where are you watching from? Yeah, so I want you to let me know in the comment section below. Okay. Yeah, so where are you tuned in from? Maybe you are in the diaspora, you're in the UK, you are in the US, you are in, the UAE, Qatar, so you're in Saudi Arabia, you're in China, you are here in Africa. Let me know which city, which country. Those of you who are in Kenya, one of the amazing in the world. Some of you are in the city. Let me know, drop a comment. Let me know in the comment section, okay? So today we are looking at real estate truths 2026, and I'm exposing these truths so that as you prepare for 2026, they will guide you when you are considering investing in real estate. And we are going to discuss a lot from real estate, from finances, diaspora, and just generally about life. And this one came about because a friend of mine I was with during the weekend, just catching up, was asked me a question that I felt was very important. As we were just discussing, this friend just asked me, Bob, why do young people struggle to get into property, and what do you think is a real solution? And he was pointing to me that a lot of young people today, including doctors, fresh graduates, young professionals, name them, they really want to get into the property ladder, and they want to own land, because even when we were in the university, in the colleges, and we graduated and got jobs, our parents used to tell us that once you start making money, then buy a piece of property, buy a piece of land. And this is the advice that every parent will give his or his son or her daughter. And that advice has been passed down from generations, okay? But realistically, with today's economy, it's getting harder for young people who don't earn much to own property. Yeah, even at its simplest form, which is land. And now this friend of mine was asking me, Bob, how do you respond to this, and what advice can you give? And you can agree with me that this is a hot question. Yeah, this is a relevant question, and it's a nice question. And I just began we just began a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was telling him that there are three types of work that will always help you to become the best version of yourself and maximize your possibilities in life. And I want to begin from there. Yeah, because in today's world, everybody is working, you know, and there is a need for each and every one of us to do what? To earn an income, even in the midst of a tough economy. And that's why I normally say that there are three types of work that will always help you to become the best version of yourself and help you to maximize your possibilities in this life. And number one is hard work, you know, whereby you are using your energy, okay? And then number two is smart work, whereby you are using technology, you're using your intelligence, you're using time. And number three, it is network, whereby you are leveraging on your friends, your colleagues, your workmates, you know. And honestly, the third one is where most people fail, yeah? Because you realize that there are people working hard, but they're not progressing in terms of investment, you know. But the third one is the most important, and this is where I've realized that most people fail. And let me be real for a moment. You may be having friends, or maybe some of your colleagues, or maybe your clique or your circle, you're calling them friends. And what you do with this circle is very important. And I've come across people who have friends, and what they're doing with their friends is, you know, they're calling, oh, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, or this and that, let's come, let's go and watch a movie, let's go partying, you know, and moving from club to club, enjoying life, buying this 70,000 that you guys are using to party, you know, to buy drinks, to get some girlfriend, to get some boyfriend, you know, to go out every week, every weekend. You know, I'm not saying it's good to entertain yourself, yeah? So, assuming you are 10 of you, each of you raise 7,000 for partying, that's 70,000 gone, you know, in popcorns, drinks, movies. You are using some Uber, some Bolt there, some Farasi there, you know. So the question becomes, who are your friends? And if all your friendship revolves around, you know, clubbing, around movies, around, you know, chasing girls, chasing boys, you know, sharing about which drinks are the latest, which ones are the most expensive, you know, renting some Airbnb to have parties, late night parties, you know, then you realize that you won't advance in terms of investment, yeah? If your relationships don't just go beyond clubbing, beyond partying to investments, then you need to ask yourself, what exactly are you building, you know? So you need to find out who are my friends, and out of my friends, can I get 5 serious friends? Yeah, if you are 20 years old, 22, 25, or even 30 years old, and you can't find at least 5 people, serious friends in your life, in your circle, who can come together consistently and purposefully to invest or to focus on investments that will build you wealth, that will increase your income, then you need to audit your friends. You need to audit your friends. You know, if you can't find at least 5 people in your life who can come together consistently and purposefully, you know, to build wealth, then you need to audit your friends. So imagine this: 5 of you come together and create what I call, maybe you name your group a wealth creation network group, you know, or investment club. Then you commit every month, each of you is contributing 10,000. That is 50,000 a month. In a year, that is 600,000. Now imagine being consistent for 5 years, 7 years, or even 10 years. And you'll realize that that is how wealth starts. But you know, people at the moment are doing the opposite. Instead, you find people out here, you know, you are exchanging, buying wigs every week, you know, but your life is not straight. You are fixing your eyelashes, but your destiny is blinking. I've found some people, young people, or even middle-aged people, or even elderly people, you are carrying 3 phones, yet you don't even own shares in any telecom company. You're wearing 3-piece suit, but you don't even own 3 plots of land. Some of you have big television, but you don't have a vision in terms of your investments. You're going to the gym, exercising, but you cannot exercise financial discipline. Is it making sense? If you're getting value, I want you to type in the comment section, I'm getting value. Now, what is the answer? I've talked about coming together, 5 of you, 4 of you, 3 of you. What this means is that you come together in what we normally call in real estate fractional ownership. And fractional ownership is the answer, guys. You don't need to own land alone. Time for owning property alone is gone and gone forever, and it will never come back. Because when you go it alone, you'll always feel like you are climbing a tough mountain. And that is why many people have not made decisions, they have not progressed, because they're trying to go alone. Yeah? They're trying to go alone. If 5 of you contribute 100,000 each, that is 500,000. Do that for 12 months. That is 6 million. Start land banking. Let's say you commit, you say that we are for the first 5 to 10 years, we are going to do just specifically land investment, land banking investments, where we are buying land and leaving it for 5 to 10 years in strategic locations. Then after 10 years, you decide that now we want to start development. You sell the land that you bought 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and then you use the profit to build houses on the land and sell. And you can even use the profits to now buy apartment, and then you rent out and begins to give you guys income. Now money begins to work for you. And then you guys decide to aim for financial independence, financial freedom, whereby you have sufficient investments that are putting enough cash flow in your pockets. That is enough to finance your lifestyle to a point that you can decide not to work again for the rest of your life, because your investments are giving you income that is able to finance your lifestyle. So even if you decide to work, you're working because you are fulfilling your purpose. You love the work you're doing. It's giving you fulfillment. It's giving you purpose, meaning, So by year 20, if you do this, you realize that none of you will be poor, not even one. And I'm telling you this from experience. People who have done this, some of my friends who have done this, and they started personally from scratch. They started personally from scratch. So this principle of fractional ownership is working. And I know people who have even bought houses, properties abroad by just doing fractional ownership. So this is the formula, guys. It's not a 1-person property. It's 10 people. It's 5 people, it's 4 people, it's 3 people, and this is very simple, it is very predictable, very proven, and no matter how young you are, you can begin to implement this, because somebody said that if you want to go far, then go alone. Yeah, if you want to go far, then go alone. But if you want to go farthest, then go with people. Yeah. So I want you to realize that wealth doesn't happen accidentally. You cannot climb a ladder by accident. You climb a ladder step by step, but you can fall down by accident. Yeah. So nobody becomes wealthy by accident. It is a step-by-step process. It is strategy. So if you blow up without wisdom, you come down as fast as you went up. You get cash, you crash. Because money, if you have money and you don't have wisdom to make it, then you will never have the wisdom to manage it. Yeah. If you got money without wisdom, then you will never have the wisdom to manage it. Yeah. I've seen some poor people, some, just a layman person who suddenly became famous. Some won lottery, some won, some of this in some of these betting companies. But today, where are they? Because they just blew up from nowhere. Somebody, they just gambled with betting of, let's say, 100 shillings. And then that person has won 10 million, 100 million. But today, where are they? So you need wisdom to get money. And with that wisdom, you'll also be able to manage that money. If it is not inside, it won't survive the test of time. And I normally like to say this, that every time a society rewards bad behavior without character, the results repeat themselves. Now, if you're listening to me right now and you're a young man or you are a young woman, be intentional, be intentional with your life. Nobody will plan your life for you without your involvement. And I want you to remember that nobody grows young. Maybe some of you are saying, no, it's my time to slay. Let me become a slay queen. Young guy, let me enjoy life. This life is YOLO. You only live once. Let me enjoy my life. It is my money. It is my life. It is my skills, my talents, my passion. Let me enjoy my life. Because I only live once. Then suddenly you realize that you're 20, you're 30, you're 40. Then one day you wake up and you realize that time has gone. Time has passed you by. Start small, Start intentionally. Because the earlier you start, the easier your future becomes. Because I normally say that there is something we are calling compounded interest. And compounded interest takes advantage of time. And the person who starts early compounds the greatest. The person who begins investment early, the person who begins to align his life or her life early, compounds early, compounds more. Yeah? So, the other day I was with a friend of mine and, he was trying to tell me that, okay, Bob, you've talked about fractional ownership. You've talked about us coming together like for 3 people, 5 people, or even 10 people. Yeah. But wait, I can gather my friends. We can own something, But Bob, what if I actually tried this with my friends that I thought I could trust, and suddenly I realized that, they're not trustworthy in the process of starting. Yeah, because honestly, trust is hard these days. And I agree that that is true. Trust is hard these days, and sometimes you can begin these investments, with some of your friends, and in the middle of it, they betray you, or you betray them, because people change. They are not the same way you met them. Yeah. So the truth about fractional ownership is this, that it runs on the law. Yeah. There is, let me say this, I normally like to say this, that there is no trust anywhere. Trust is not a feeling. It is built and controlled by principles, by laws, by rules, and by policy. And that is why even as a country we have laws. So even if you are doing business with your brother, your blood brother or blood sister, there must be a contract. Yeah, there must be a law, because actually the law is, do you know why the law is normally black and white? The symbol of the law is a blindfold. The law doesn't know you. So when we talk about fractional ownership, this is the currency, guys. The currency today is collaboration. So what do I mean by fractional ownership? I just mean collaboration. You are not going it alone. You are teaming up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 people, you know, and you're coming together. And you guys decide to be professional, whereby every person signs a legal document that is going to protect you. And the agreement governs the partnership. You know, let me give an example. In a fractional ownership model or in a collaboration model, you know, you come up with a contract that states clearly this investment is not for unserious, selfish, impatient, or impulsive people. This investment is for people who are committed to building patient, enduring wealth. You know, and more importantly, you come up with rules such as any money you contribute is locked in for some time. You know, so you realize that these rules will govern you, and it will instill trust in the a group, you know. So once you sign that, that becomes the law, that becomes the principle. So even if you and your partner becomes enemy tomorrow, the money does not know the fight. The money will follow the principles, the laws, the policies, you know. The money will follow the agreement that you guys drafted, yeah? Because money is not emotional, it obeys the contract. So think about it. All of you have money in the bank. Do you know the bank MD? Are you friends with him? Does your enemy also bank there? Yes. Why don't you close your account because your enemy is a customer? Because banking is governed by law, not emotion. And that is exactly how fractional ownership works. Yeah. So we have met groups that have come to invest with us. You know, 8 ladies, you know, who formed a group, and they came and bought 4 parcels of land with us. You know, that is estimable properties. And they left these properties for, you know, 5 years. Today, all those ladies, they are millionaires. Their properties are worth millions because they bought those property when they were going for 300,000. Today, one property alone is going for 2 million. You know, so this is a model that is working, and there are people who are multiplying their money. They're increasing their income. They're making millions just through fractional ownership. They're not going it alone. You know, today their properties are worth millions just from one piece of land they bought together. You know, from 1 they moved to 2 to 3 to 4. Why? Because they chose land banking over cash banking. Always choose land banking over cash banking. Yeah, because I normally like to say this, that a city today was a village yesterday, and a village today will be a city tomorrow. You don't wait to buy land, you buy land and wait. Yeah. And if you look at today, you realize that there are some young people, there are some Nairobians who they prefer already developed places because of the lifestyle. And why is that a trap? Because people want instant results. You know, they want current today. They want a suburb today. You know, but current started somewhere. Runda started somewhere. Some of the areas we are admiring today, they started somewhere, and they become expensive. And you realize that some young, you know, uninformed investors lose their money, you know, by wanting to be in these already developed areas that they can't afford, and therefore they end up not investing. So I want you to know that these places were once considered far. These places were once considered a bush. These places were once considered, marshy. But today they are prime, So I normally like to convince young people or young investors or upcoming investors, to stop focusing only on glamorous areas or areas that, seem glamorous, because location is not the starting point. Infrastructure is the starting point. I normally hear people in real estate say location, location, location. But what makes a location valuable is infrastructure, electricity, roads, connectivity, technology. The day Safaricom entered into, some parts of Nairobi, those village areas expired, and more villages are becoming expired as county governments are entering those places with infrastructure, So cities are simply villages where development arrived. And once you understand this, you stop chasing developed areas and start chasing growth corridors. You start chasing development corridors, So how do cities expand? There is this rule I call 30 minutes rule. There is this rule I call a 30 minutes rule. Anywhere in the world, take the most expensive part of the city. Then you draw a 1 hour radius from the most expensive part of the city. You draw 1 hour radius around it. Everything within that radius becomes part of that city in 10, 15 years. For example, Nairobi is the reference point. Pull a radius of 1 hour around it. Do you know where it lands you? It lands to places like Juja, it lands to places like Kamulu, it lands to places like Kitengela, it lands to places like Ngong, it lands to places like Kikuyu. Okay? If you pull a radius of 1 hour around it. So all these places will be integrated into the greater Nairobi region in the coming years. And it's already happening. Nairobi is expanding into these areas, So you position yourself along these development corridors because development always wins, okay? I remember in our church, we bought land where our church is located 20 years ago. 20 years ago at 1 million per plot. Guess the price today, 20 years later. One plot right now is going for 20 million. Between 15 to 20 million. 20 years ago, the same plot was going for 1 million. Today, the same plot is going between 15 to 20 million. Yeah? So, land appreciates quietly and consistently. So your work is to just locate and just buy genuine land with the right documentations and you hold it. Because some of the indices of a secure property investment are location, documentation, population, and once you have these things, then your land is safe. Just invest, just buy, and it will take care of you. And I've seen like a lot of people traveling abroad. So these opportunities that are there. But I've seen many people missing on these opportunities and, going abroad to look for, greener pastures. But here's the truth. The grass is not greener on the other side. Is the grass really green abroad? The grass is not greener on the other side. And I normally say that if you water your own grass, it will soon be greener. And it should soon grow and glow. Yeah, if you water your grass, it will soon be greener, it will grow and glow. Okay? So most of the people who travel abroad, they do so for economic reasons. And nothing is wrong with that. And you need to realize that everyone posting pictures abroad, they're not telling you the full story. You realize that many are struggling. Some are working up to 3 jobs. But some can't share their struggle because of shame, because everyone knows that anyone who is abroad is wealthy. So they send pictures of beautiful houses, beautiful cars, but deep down they are struggling financially. So should people abroad still invest in the home country? Absolutely yes. Your money works harder here, So you need to know that your future is more secure when you diversify. As you work abroad, you need also to invest back home. Yeah. So I want you to know that if you don't learn by revelation, you will learn by experience. And that is the truth. Yeah. If you don't learn by revelation, you will learn by experience. Okay? So for those who are abroad, someone abroad was asking me, should they invest there or should they invest back home? If you are abroad and that is where you want to live long term, then that should be your primary place to invest. And then Kenya, your home country, becomes secondary. But first you need to understand the economic environment of where you live. Stabilize yourself there, own a home, build assets that pull you out of the rat race. Then you begin now to diversify and diversify some of your assets back home. Because you also need to realize that the Western world is a capitalist environment. It's structured for entrepreneurs and investors, not just salary earners. So if you're doing 2, 3, or 4 jobs, you might be earning more, but also pushing yourself into higher tax brackets. So instead, keep your main job and use your spare time to build investment. Become an entrepreneur. You're working on your career, but you're investing. You're building businesses. You are learning the entrepreneurship ropes so that you can transition from an earner to a business owner, to an investor. And once you've stabilized, you can then explore investment opportunities back home. But before you invest in your home country, answer these questions. Are there stakeholders at home who will demand your money? Do your family, relatives, friends, brothers, sisters, parents will demand your money? Will you return often to check and manage your investment back home? Do you plan to relocate back home one day? Are your children interested in returning or managing those assets? Because many people invest for their children, yet the children may never come back. So don't assume future generations will automatically take over. So those are some of the questions you need to ask yourself if you're planning to be the diaspora or you are in the diaspora. Okay? Yeah. Again, you need to understand the currency dynamics. Yeah. Currency dynamics. So don't invest in Kenya expecting dollar returns. Invest for Kenya shillings returns to fund your Kenya shillings life. Holidays, family needs, bills when you visit. That way, when you come home, you don't have to, carry cash from abroad. So no matter where you are, you should have at least one real estate investment in your home country or more. It's not an accident you were born there. You should be represented in your land. And one thing you need to know is that global events can change anything. I know someone who lived in Ukraine for 30 years and had to flee as a refugee. The only investment he had outside Ukraine were the ones he did, in Kenya and another in America. And those saved him, So I normally try to advise some of the diaspora, those who are Kenyans who are in diaspora or Africans in diaspora, stop insulting your country when you are abroad. You never know. You know, calling it names is an insult to yourself. It shows ignorance. You know, Kenya hasn't failed people. Kenyans sometimes fail each other, not Kenya. You know, so don't blame the country for individuals' action. You know, so we shared a lot with my friend, you know, from diaspora, from young people. But there is this question that also a friend of mine was asking me, that Bob, for someone with little or no capital, where do you advise they start? Now, if you have little or no capital, I'll advise you to start with knowledge, because I normally like to say this, that if you are not informed, you'll be deformed. And if you are not inspired, you'll expire. If you are not updated, you'll be outdated. You know, use the smartphone in your hand wisely. So many people have smartphone. Some costing to a tune of 85,000, 90,000, 100,000, 150,000. So you have a smartphone, but you are not smart when it comes to investment. You know, you have a television, but you don't have a vision. That phone is a modern laptop, is a modern computer. You have Google, you have YouTube. Right now we are in the age of AI. You have ebooks. Educate yourself. Move from hard work to smart work. If you don't have capital, leverage on your network, your friends. What can you sell? What problem can you solve for your friends? Because value attracts money. Money flows in the line of value. You know, you can coordinate people. Let's pool funds. I'll manage. I'll take 1 to 2% for coordination. You know, but it all begins with knowledge. I began real estate by just leveraging on the network. You know, what can you sell? I just talked to my friends, found someone with the land, and I leveraged on my friends, told my friends that there's this land, that property that is here, very prime property. Can you guys pull together this amount? We did the amount, budgeting and all that. By the end of selling to them the properties, I got my commission that bought for me my first property without any money. Yeah? So you don't need to have capital. Any money you don't have the wisdom to make, you won't have the wisdom to manage. When you set your mind to something, you know, a car, a house, an investment, your eyes start seeing opportunities. Opportunities are always there. You just need the third eye to locate them. Yeah? You just need the third eye to locate them. And at Estable Properties, we have a lot of opportunities within the Nairobi metropolitan. These are property opportunities, land investment opportunities within fast developing areas, within growth corridors, within fast developing growth corridors that are able to multiply your money, grow your income, increase your income. You know, and right now we have properties from as low at 799,000 for a 50 by 100 plot, just right here on the Southern Bypass Corridor, an area that is growing very fast, and a lot of Nairobians are moving there. A lot of residential houses are coming up, and that is the best place for you to do land banking investments, whereby you're buying land for future development, or you're buying it and leaving it there. You know, after development, you resell it at a profit, you know, and you can begin to even sell on behalf of people. You sell to people and you get your commission. You can begin to earn some extra income beyond your salary. Yeah, and so if you're interested in that, to earn extra income, call us on 0794 000022. We'll be able to guide you on how to go about it. Yeah. Now, assuming you you know, you've gone through this, and you are asking, you want to know to change your life, you want to increase your income, multiply your money, and maybe you're asking me, now Bob, I've had this. Now, what is the fail-proof template, which for someone who wants to succeed, which template can you give that person who wants to succeed from scratch? You know, now there are three things I normally like to say. Number one is financial intelligence. Keep learning. The moment you stop learning, you start dying. Learn and relearn. The three things when it comes to learning is learn and relearn. You know. Number two is financial planning. Have a plan and review it regularly, yearly, maybe after every 5 years, after every 10 years. You know. And then number three is financial discipline. Avoid conspicuous consumption. You know, avoid inflated lifestyle. Avoid living beyond your means. You know, so you need to have financial discipline and learn how to manage your money wisely, because making money is difficult. Getting money is difficult. When you get it, learn how to manage it with a lot of discipline. Then also learn how to multiply your money. So make money through work, through your career, through entrepreneurship. Manage money through budgeting and systems. Multiply your money through investments. You know, this could be business, real estate, fractional ownership, mutual funds, you know. But I want to caution you that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires real estate investment. Any investment requires a lot of steadiness, a lot of patience, you know. But the journey has to begin with you taking the first step. Yeah. Now, I've highlighted how you can, you know, do investment consistently and always and also how you can start small. Okay. And I've said that you can't do it alone. You need to go with a group. You need to go with a team, you know, collaborate with your friends. And you can decide we'll be buying one plot a year. In 5 years, you'll have 5 plots, you know. So it's a smart investment strategy. And somebody said that you better be the toe of an elephant than the head of an ant. Okay? Better to own 10% of a billion than 100% of 1,000 shillings. Yeah? So start small, start small, start small. Okay? So again, if you're interested in investing, helping us, if you're interested in, you know, starting investing, then we can help you on how you can begin to start investments with no capital. If you want to increase your money, multiply your money, you don't know where to start, we are here to walk you through and we'll be able to guide you on where you can start through real estate investments, you know, whereby you can become one of our agents. We train you, we position you, you know, and we help you on how you can be able to help us sell our properties and earn some commission. And the number is 0794000022. You call us and we'll be able to give you more guidance. Okay? So, allow me to also say this, that you need to begin to look back and reflect on what can I stop doing today? What can I stop doing today and what can I start doing? Yeah. As you reflect through this training, I want you to list down what can I stop doing and then what can I start doing. Yeah. What are some of the things when it comes to investment, when it comes to friends. You know, maybe you need to start deleting some friends from your list. You know, maybe you need to start reading some books. Maybe you need to start attending some seminars. Maybe you need to start listing people that can become your mentor. Okay? So I want you to go through this seminar again and video. Let me know in the comment section below if you've gotten value. I want you to give me a 1 in the comment section. If you've gotten value, I want you to give me a 1, and I want you to write down what action are you going to start taking on what we have discussed today, beginning now. What action are you taking beginning now on what we have discussed today? Okay, so thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Stay blessed. You can rewind this video, watch it over again and again, and I want you to share to 50 times to your friends. If you've gotten value and you think like it can help someone, I want you to share it with your friends. Share it with so many people. Share it 50 times to 50 people. Share it 50 times to 50 people if you think and feel that it can help someone, you know. And that's why I'm doing these videos for free, so that we help one another. So once again, thank you for watching. See you in our next conversation, in our next masterclass. Bye bye. I love you. Bob Ondijo, real estate investment advisor. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. See you in our next video. Bye bye.